The Mushka were an Iron Age people of Anatolia, known from Assyrian sources. They do not appear in Hittite records. Several authors have connected them with the Moshoi of Greek sources and the Georgian tribe of the Mushki. Josephus Flavius identified the Moshoi with the biblical Meshich. Two different groups are called Mushki in the Assyrian sources, one from the 12th to 9th centuries, located near the confluence of the Arsanias and the Euphrates, and the other in the 8th to 7th centuries, located in Cappadocia and Cilicia. Assyrian sources identify the Western Mushka with the Phrygians, while Greek sources clearly distinguish between Phrygians and Moshoi. Identification of the Eastern with the Western Mushka is uncertain, but it is of course possible to assume a migration of at least part of the Eastern Mushka to Cilicia in the course of the 10th to 8th centuries, and this possibility has been repeatedly suggested, variously identifying the Mushka as speakers of a Georgian, Armenian or Anatolian idiom. The Encyclopedia of Indo-European Culture notes that the Armenians, according to Diakonoff, are then an amalgam of the Hurrin, Luvians and the Proto-Armenian Mushka who carried their IE language eastwards across Anatolia. Eastern Mushki. The Eastern Mushki appear to have moved into Hatti in the 12th century, completing the downfall of the collapsing Hittite state. Along with various sea peoples, they established themselves in a post-Hittite kingdom in Cappadocia. Whether they moved into the core Hittite areas from the east or west has been a matter of some discussion by historians. Some speculate that they may have originally occupied a territory in the area of Urartu. Alternatively, ancient accounts suggest that they first arrived from a homeland in the west, from the region of Troy, or even from as far as Macedonia. As the Bryges, together with the Hurons and Kaskas, they invaded the Assyrian provinces of Altsi and Puru-Huzi in about 1160 BC. But they were pushed back and defeated, along with the Kaskas, by Tiglath-Pileser I in 1115 BC, who until 1110 BC advanced as far as Milid. Western Mushki. In the 8th century, Tabal became the most influential of the post-Hittite polities, and the Mushka under Meter entered an anti-Assyrian alliance with Tabal and Karchemish. The alliance was soon defeated by Sargon of Assyria, who captured Karchemish and drove back Meter to his own province. Ambrose of Tabal was diplomatically married to an Assyrian princess, and received the province of Hilaku, but in 713 BC, Ambrose was deposed and Tabal became an Assyrian province. In 709 BC, the Mushka re-emerged as allies of Assyria, Sargon naming Meter as his friend. It appears that Meter had captured and handed over to the Assyrians emissaries of Uriki, king of K, who were sent to negotiate an anti-Assyrian contract with Urartu, as they passed through his territory. According to Assyrian military intelligence reports to Sargon recorded on clay tablets found in the royal archives of Nineveh by Sir Henry Layard, the Cimmerians invaded Urartu from Mani in 714 BC. From there they turned west along the coast of the Black Sea as far as Sinope, and then headed south towards Tabal. In 705 BC, defeating an Assyrian army in central Anatolia, resulting in the death of Sargon. McQueen and others have speculated that the Mushka under Meter may have participated in the Assyrian campaign and were forced to flee to western Anatolia, disappearing from Assyrian accounts, but entering the periphery of Greek historiography as King Midas of Phrygia. Rusas II of Urartu in the 7th century fought the Mushkani to his west before he entered an alliance with them against Assyria. Moshoi. Hecataeus of Miletus speaks of the Moshias, Colchians, situated next to the Mashana. According to Herodotus, the equipment of the Moshoi was similar to that of the Tibrina, Macronege, Mosanisha and Mardai, with wooden caps upon their heads, and shields and small spears, on which long points were set. All these tribes formed the 19th satrapy of the Achaemenid Empire, extending along the southeast of the Euxine, or the Black Sea, and bounded on the south by the lofty chain of the Armenian Mountains. Strabo locates the Moshoi in two places. The second location, Moshis, in which was a temple of Leucothea, once famous for its wealth, but plundered by Pharnaces and Mithridates, was divided between the Colchians, Armenians, and Iberians. These latter Moshoi were obviously the Georgian Meschi or Meski. Procopius calls them Moshoi and says that they were subject to the Iberians, and had embraced Christianity, the religion of their masters. According to Professor James R. Russell of Harvard University, the Georgian designation for Armenians, Sumki, preserves the old name of the Mushka. Pliny in the 1st century AD mentions the Moshni in southern Armenia. In Byzantine historiography, Moshoi was a name equivalent to or considered as the ancestors of Cappadocians, with their capital at Mazaka. Biblical Meshech. Josephus Flavius identified the Cappadocian Moshoi with the biblical Japhetic tribe descended from Meshech in his writings on the genealogy of the nations in Genesis chapter 10, while Hippolytus of Rome connected Meshech with Illyrians. Meshech is named with Tubal as a principality of the prince of Gog and Magog in Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 2 and 39-1. Mtskatos and Mtsk-Heta. The ancient city of Mtsk-Heta, near Tbilisi, is believed by Georgian experts to be the former capital of the Mushka state. According to the medieval Georgian chronicles, the city was built by the legendary patriarch Mtskatos, one of 5 sons of Kartlos, the legendary patriarch of the Georgian nation. According to the chronicles, during Mtskatos' lifetime the descendants of Torgon were united and successfully resisted the attacks of the Nimrodians, which Georgian experts interpret as a reference to ancient conflict between the Mushka and Assyria. Excavations in Mtsk-Heta have confirmed the town dates back at least as far as 1000 BC. The chronicles, the older conversion of Kartli, and the older still Armenian chronicles of Moses of Corinth all give conflicting accounts of Mtsk-Heta's history prior to and during the conquests of Alexander the Great. According to the conversion, Mtsk-Heta remained the chief city of Kartli, the medieval native name for Georgia, up until Alexander's arrival, who changed the ruling dynasty in Mtsk-Heta by installing Azo, said to be a prince from Arian Kartli. According to the chronicles, after Mtskatos' death, Kartli broke up into several smaller, warring regions, until unity was restored by Azo, said to be one of Alexander's Macedonian generals, who was in turn expelled by the local prince Parnawaz, and it was Parnawaz who founded the new ruling dynasty of Kartli. Moses of Corinth says that Alexander installed a Persian satrap named Mithridates in Mtsk-Heta, while Georgian experts disagree over the details of their interpretations of these accounts. They generally agree that they reflect a decline of the Mushka state and rise of Persian influence before the arrival of Alexander, who, perhaps more as a side effect than by any effort on his part, ushered in a new era of unity in much of the Mushka state's former territories under a new dynasty, who preferred the name Kartli over Mushka. Mtsk-Heta remained the capital of the Kartli state, which became known in most languages as Iberia, until the 5th century AD. Meskheti and the Mesks. People in what is now a south-central Georgian region continue to favor a variant of the old Mushka name, and today call themselves Mesks and their region Meskheti. They speak a dialect of Georgian called Meskuri, which among Georgia's regional dialects is relatively close to official Georgian. The town of Mtsk-Heta is not in today's Meskheti region, but lies about 100 kilometers to its northeast, in the Kartli region. Masajte. Georgian historians believe the Masajte is another name for the Mushka, in contradiction to prevailing opinion which places the Masajte in Central Asia. They base their argument on statements by Herodotus that the Masajte lived beyond the Araxes, and that, after crossing the Araxes, Cyrus was sleeping on the territory of the Masajte. while rejecting as a mistake a third statement by Herodotus that, on the west the Caspian is bounded by the Caucasus, eastwards lies an immense tract of flat country. The greater part of this region is occupied by the Massagetæ. Georgian historians also point to the similarity of the names Massagetæ, Mtsk Heta and Meskhetiy, and to the lack of archaeological evidence for a Massagetæ state in Central Asia.